Meanwhile, the South African Human Rights Commission has come out and condemned the attacks on law enforcement officials in the Johannesburg CBD yesterday. The Commission says law enforcement officials have a duty to ensure law and order in our communities. But for more on this now, we're joined in studio by the Commission's Commissioner for Migration at the South African Human Rights Commission, Mam Angie Makwetla. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Good afternoon.
Your reaction really on what happened yesterday in Johannesburg CBD?
Yes, the South African Human Rights Commission has reacted with acute disappointment at what happened yesterday, and it is very regrettable because, you know, people have got to realize that violence begets violence, and violence has never solved anything. Now, there's a lot of rumors flying around about who did this, but as the Human Rights Commission, we cannot work on assumptions and suspicions. So we haven't heard from any official, a source that, who was responsible. But as I said, we condemn in the strongest possible language what happened.
Yeah.
You know, this democracy of ours it was hard won, and we are very proud of it. And we are a law enforcing country. So, whoever did that must know that, the might of the law will come down heavily on them.
Yeah, and of course, part of your statement issued, you say that all inhabitants of the Republic of South Africa have to abide by the laws, as you say, of the country without exception, and also allow law enforcement officials to conduct their duties without any hindrance.
Yes.
Let us talk more about that, because now you have the hawkers coming out to say the police provoked us. On the other hand, we've seen what happens. There are videos, of course, doing the rounds. There's one now on the screen which showed a crowd approaching police vehicles. So, as you say, we don't have an official statement as to who's to blame here.
Yes.
But talk to us about the statement.
You see, what we are saying as the South African Human Rights Commission is that anybody who is within the borders of South Africa must abide by the rule of the laws of this country. We are a democratic state. We are a constitutional state. And we have got rights. But people must realize that rights go with responsibilities. So the right to safety, all of us are entitled to the right to safety. I mean, anyone could have got hurt yesterday, an innocent person walking through the city and coming across
Well,
this...
you have police officials who were hurt in this...
this violent confrontation.
Yes. So what happens now?
You see,
Will the commission
what we
investigate?
have to do, we have to bring our heads together as commissioners and decide how we are going to tackle this, because we cannot allow it to happen again. So you can rest assured that next week sometime we will come up with action, because, we believe in dialogue. People must come, we must sit down, and we must understand what happened, why. I don't even know whether people were feeling threatened, but if you are feeling threatened, that is not how you react. So, we need to sit around the table and talk about this and address these issues.
And of course, this is quite a sensitive issue. Of course, some people saying that these were foreign nationals attacked in the law enforcement agency. So as I say, it is a sensitive issue. We know where our country comes from in terms of xenophobic attacks and so on. So this has to be handled in a sensitive manner going forward. Who are you hoping to bring into your investigations, if I may call it that, when you look thoroughly into this issue?
I wouldn't like to speculate and say who we are going to come, to bring into, because we have to consult with our legal people to say who can we bring along, so that we talk about this. Obviously, SABC must come into the picture, because we know that they are the people that were being threatened. So we will meet, we will issue a report on our meeting, and we'll come up with a way forward, because as I said, we cannot allow this to continue.
Yeah, most importantly, as you say, Mam Angie, that this also infringes on the right of the people who were around the Johannesburg CBD.
Yes. The right to safety.
To
Everyone has got a right to safety. And I can't be walking down the street innocently doing my shopping, and then I get hit by a rock coming from somewhere. Who am I going to blame when that happens?
Yeah, and I suppose the rights of police officials as well were also sort of tampered with, because they were attacked and they were there to protect us as the community.
They were on duty. And they, as you say, they were there to protect the law-abiding citizens of this country, and then they came across this barrage that we don't know, who was to blame.
But what does this say about us as a country in terms of how we value police officials and law enforcement agencies?
Yes. The violence that we see all around us can really not be condoned by anyone. If people are angry, let's sit down and talk. What are we angry about? Let's find ways of healing so that we don't react so violently against each other. What are we teaching the children? Because we keep saying children are the future, but what future are we leaving for them? What are we showing them? Is this the right way to behave? And the answer is no. It is not the right way to behave, and we do not want our children to be seeing such violence.
All right, we'll leave it at this for now, but we hope to have you back in studio once you've had the discussions with all stakeholders in this matter, so to get a clear understanding as to what might have transpired. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Mamenji Makwetlo is a commissioner from the South African Human Rights Commission, giving their side to what happened, of course, in Johannesburg CBD yesterday. As I said, we'll have her back in studio once they've had the consultations with all the relevant stakeholders.